Better sooner than not at all. Hey guys, what's going on? This is the conservative speaking. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys had an amazing Halloween. Um, didn't really do much for Halloween. Uh, went to the gym, worked out, had making sure that I'm still in good shape for my age, and came home and obviously was trying to set up for the broadcast. But once again, I know this is a little late, but better now than never. That's what I say. Amazing. But I'm here tonight, and for those of you that want to join me, the link is is in the comments section. So if you guys like to join the show, you're more than welcome to join the show. If you guys want to be able to speak to the conservative, and also click on that link, and you'll be able to speak one on one with yours truly, the conservative. So, this is an amazing day. Obviously, uh, because it's Halloween. Believe it or not, not really a lot. There's weren't really a lot of trick or treaters out there. Trick or treating is not what it used to be. I remember as a kid, we used to trick or treat from. We would start from 6 p.m. and then it wouldn't end and then we would go all the way into the until 11 p.m. I mean, we would go into the late hours of the night. But nowadays, all the families are doing trick or treating as early as 4 p.m. and they're done before the sun hits dusk. So they usually start at 4 and they're done at 7. So it's not what it used to be. I'm just glad that I was able to grow up in an era where trick or treating actually meant something. But nowadays, with all of the with the world in a disarray right now, and with all of the crazy things that people can do to the candy or even to the children, it's not really worth it. But anyway, um, this is also the last day of October. Tomorrow we will be heading into the first day of November. Looking forward to it. Winter is coming. Winter is definitely coming. Also, another big thing to look out for is the midterms. Fast and coming. It seemed as if the mainstream media was speaking about the midterms yesterday, even though it was months away, and now we're a week away from the midterm. So for those of you that haven't registered, well, I think you guys are beyond the deadline point to register. But for those of you that are registered, get out there and vote. The only way that we'll be able to take our country back is to use our power to vote. All right, vote for the people that will bring our country back and allow us to confiscate this country from the progressives and make America great again. And the only way you can be able to do it is to not just vote for Republicans, but the Republicans that truly stand for the, the values of the party. I'm not speaking about the rhino Republicans, real Republicans that are there to represent your rights. For the ones that are looking to not infringe on your rights, but to make sure that your rights are not infringed upon. These are the type of people that you need to vote into office. And I will be able to go into more detail as the midterms start. As the midterms are approaching, as far as the type of candidates that you need to look for in order to vote and bring this country back. The only Obviously, we have a plan for the Great White Hope, Donald Trump, to come back, but it starts here. It starts with the midterms. It starts with allowing our vote to take back the House and the Senate away from the progressives that have done nothing but bring us into financial ruins and potentially getting engaging in World War III. And once we're able to do that, then we can expect the Great White Hope to then say that he will be running. He will be putting his hat for the 2024 race, and to put him back in office and allow Donald Trump, along with the Republicans that stand for the constituents of the people, to then be in office to do the job to make America great again. All right. So it's very important. Get out there and vote Republican and vote for real Republicans and not the rhinos. Amazing. So that with that out of the way, um, you guys see the title. It is it is called The Family. Okay. And I'm not really going to I'm going to get into a synopsis of The Family. And then I plan on doing a much more comprehensive broadcast of The Family um in due time. Okay. So there will be a part 2 of The Family because I want to be able to bring in data, statistics, um and so that we'll be able to really bring home the message of why of of the reason why the family exists and why the family is a huge component of American society. It's actually one of the most prominent institutions of of not just America but throughout the world. Because everything starts with the family. Without the family, then you have no community. Okay. And that was the thing that people used to know. Without the family, you cannot build wealth because it takes the income of not just the father, but also the mother as well. And combining those, combining that together, then you'll be able to build generational wealth. Or you can have the father, or you can build generational wealth, with what the father is making, and then have the mother play the role of and play have the mother playing the traditional role of the wife and doing her duties to allow the father then to go out and become the top earner and continue to be the top earner. And and with everyone playing their roles, then the family itself can be taken care of um as far as generational wealth goes, because it's the traditional role in which the man and the woman gets together, they procreate children. um, the father then takes what he makes, is able to invest it And then whatever he gets from his investment, he'll be able to then pass down uh, to his legacy. And then their legacy can continue the tradition that their parents upheld. And then they'll be able to do the same, get married, procreate, have children, pass on the generational wealth through the children, and then so on and so on and so on. That's how you build generations and generations and generations of wealth. Okay. But it all starts with the family. Because without the family, you can't build generational wealth. You won't be able to build, you won't be able to um you won't be able to generate any type of morals, values, cultural norms within society. All of these things are generated through the family. And if you can't get it through the family, then you won't be able to then operate in a normal fashion within the society that you dwell in. Because even if these institutions teach you morals and values, it won't stick as much as it would if you were to get it from the very people who brought you into the world. And you get that through the family. And if you guys happen to take sociology, sociology goes into the family. Um, they tend to break the family down into multiple families. They'll tell you that the nuclear family exists, the extended family exists, uh, uh, co cohabitants exist, uh, same sex families, blended families, and adoptive family, which I believe that's also part of the adoptive family, and so on and so on and so on. But truth of the matter is, the family that ties the binds is the nuclear family. Because let's be honest, without the nuclear family, there is no extended family. There is no there is no same sex family, which really doesn't exist. There is no blended family. You can't build any other family if it doesn't come from the initial family that that is responsible for 99.99999% of the children that are procreated in this world. It takes a mother and a father to procreate, a man and a woman. Okay. Now, how they go about doing it the right way is one thing, but it will always take a man and a woman to procreate. We all know that two men and two women cannot procreate, regardless of what you're hearing in mainstream media. Okay. All of this idea that two men can get pregnant, keep in mind the man that's pretending to be a woman is biologically a woman. So of course, if a man can still can still have sexual intercourse with that woman that's pretending to be a man, of course she's going to be pregnant. That is a that is a that's a given. The nuclear family, the man and the woman that are preferably married, living in a household, and are able to make children, that is the tie that binds. And it's important that the family exists because that is what's going to set off the development of the people living in society. This is where you get to learn um, values. This is where you get to learn culture, especially culture within the society. All right. The proper way to speak, the proper way to talk, the proper way to behave among other people. You get that from the family. Okay. What you also get from and one of the reasons why you're able to get that from the family is because once again, the very thing that I harpooned on earlier, and that is culture. Now, when you have a culture that is strong in the family, especially a culture that is strong in religion, these are the very things that will help the society become a strong society, a normal interacting society. All right. Now, how do you build a family? Well, traditionally, people get married. That's the real way that you should build a family. This not the whole now there are people who cohabitate, they live together, they're not married, they pretend they're married, but they're not. But then they lose out on the very privileges that they would get if they were married. And keep in mind, cohabitation, even though they pretend that they're married, they don't get the same rights that they get that a married couple will get. Basically, people who live together that are not married but have children, either party can leave. I mean, a worst case scenario, whoever is the high earner will have to pay whoever is the high earner and whoever has custody of the children, um, would then have the other person pay child support. But outside of that, these two can be with and marry whoever they want to. Whereas in a marriage, it's illegal for married couples to marry outside of their marriage. This is the reason why there's more of an incentive to get married because you are you are holding an obligation not only to your spouse but to God. You're telling them that you are going to be with this person through um you know through sicker through sick or poor. I mean through I'm sorry, through sickness and health, rich or poor, for good or for bad. And I'm probably not even saying it in its right order, but its proper order. But you made these vows that you would commit yourself to these vows to your spouse until death do you part. And if you're not ready to take those vows, then you shouldn't get married. But in order to have a family, you would have to get married first. And that's really the main reason why people should get married. What do you normally see? Okay. Well, before I get into that, here is an excerpt. Hold on one second, guys. Ooh, sorry about that. But I'll show you an excerpt from the Bible that really shows the true purpose of marriage. It's right here. So in Corinthians 11:3, it states, "When it comes to the biblical order of the family, two verses in scripture that summarize this are um looks like whoa. Uh so on the other end it says, I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ. and and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. What it says here, for the husband is the head of the wife, and in Ephesians 5:23 it says, for the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior. So, to put this frank, marriage has a hierarchy. There is an order. And when people don't follow that order, then the marriage itself will be out of order. If people understood that the purpose of marriage is to be in a hierarchy that will then benefit raising, I mean, creating and raising a family, then these are the type of families that will last a lifetime. I mean, obviously, as humans, we do not live forever, but if you live long enough to procreate, raise your children in the right order due to that hierarchical order, then you can be able to pass that same teaching to your children, and your children will be able to pass that same teaching to their children, and so on and so on and so on. You want to know how you build generational wealth? That's how you build it. You build it through the family, you build it through people. All right. And the roles of the husband and wife, they run parallel, not perpendicular. They run this way. That's the way it should run, especially in a Christian family, as opposed to running this way. Because if it runs this way, that means it goes in one direction. All right. The role goes in one direction and stays infinite. The husband plays the role, and the husband's role is the provider and the protector of the wife and of the children. Provider, protector. The wife's role is the role of the helpmate. She is there to assist the husband. Basically, she is there to assist in the husband's needs when it comes to taking care of the children, taking care of the household, cooking, cleaning, playing, doing the very things that is expected of the wife. And when the children see that, then the children will be able to be raised in that manner to where they know that that's the way that they need to conduct themselves when they get involved in a marriage. And they will also know who to vet when it comes to finding that spouse that will be able to provide the very things that that is expected either of the husband, either of the potential husband or the potential wife. So it works out. And it is amazing. But what do you normally find out these days? Well, what you normally find out in this day is that people do not follow the hierarchical order of marriage. Marriage to most people is a lifestyle. To them it's a lifestyle and not a duty. And this is the reason why, despite the fact that you can have, well, I'm sorry. Well, this is the reason why 54% of of marriages end up in divorces. It's for that reason. People marry for all the wrong reasons. People look, and obviously the media has a lot to play with it, okay? But also the churches. I mean, the leaders of the pastors of the churches. Where is the emphasis on the true meaning of marriage? Where is the emphasis on the purpose of marriage? You don't really see it a lot. Instead, what you see is this romanticizing the idea of marriage. Oh, marriage is a people marry because they fall in love. What does love have to do with it? All right. And then just like, okay, and then if people marry out of love, then just like Earth, Wind and Fire was saying, after the love is gone, then what? Because if you're not looking forward to fulfilling your duty as a husband or a wife, if you're not looking to fulfill your covenant of a husband and wife in a marriage, then you really cannot build a family. Okay. But this is where the strength of the family comes from. It comes from marriage, and it comes from people understanding and wanting to build a family. And the only way that you can build a family is if you get married. You have to be able to fulfill the covenant of marriage. Then comes marriage, and then comes the family. All right. Or even more importantly, you have God, marriage, family. And with that, you will have a stronger community. And with that, you wouldn't have a high rate of divorces because people would marry for the right reason. People wouldn't marry because it's cool to get married. People wouldn't marry because they want the status symbol of marriage. People wouldn't marry because they like um they like the Mr. or Mrs. to their name. They know that it is a duty and it is a duty that needs to be fulfilled. And if they're willing to do that, then they can go about building what would be the next chapter, and that is a strong family that will not buckle, that will stay strong and persevere through anything because the husband and the wife understand their duty. Key word. I want you guys to understand this. All right. The key ingredient to a great marriage is and a strong family is is for the husband and wife to fulfill the duty of being in a committed marriage. But it takes work, and it's something that the husband and wife are going to have to fulfill. And once they fulfill that, then you have a family. And when you have a strong family, you have a strong community. But then and only then will that happen. All right. For instance, uh the latest power couple to get divorced is Tom Brady and Giselle Bundchen. Tom Brady and Giselle Bunchins, the so-called power couple. Uh, these couple, this married couple, or once married couple, they were the media darlings. I mean, Tom Brady's net worth is $250 million. Giselle's net worth is $400 million. What could go wrong? Um, Combined, their net worth is a well over a $500 million. Billion with a B, right? Both of these people are titans in what they do. So what can go wrong? He has money, she has money, and they were married for 13 years with 2 children. And yet all of the money, all of the status, and and all of the accolades could not save their marriage. All right. These two married couple that were married for 13 years, they recently filed for divorce. I believe it was yesterday. So, but how could that be? These two were the richest and one of the most powerful couples in America. They were making a crazy amount of money. It just goes to show you that a woman's money means nothing to a marriage. It means nothing. All right. The reason why their marriage failed is because for the very reason they are a power couple. So they both are coming into this partnership 50-50 because they're both worth over $100 million. So they both financially bring something to the table. Well, what they're also bringing to the table are no defined roles. No defined roles. I mean, if you look at it, Giselle Bunchins is worth more than Tom Brady. So by default, she would be considered the breadwinner. If Tom Brady decided to retire, I mean, Giselle will be the one that will be financing the family. Although I believe that I'm sure Tom Brady has enough in the bank account for him to make that decision to do so. Plus, you can't really call yourself a man if you're going to allow the woman to pay for everything. Can't really call yourself a man and you're living off of the woman's dime. That is not the order of the man, nor the nature of the man. But here lies the dilemma. All right. You have an alpha male, right, based on finances, and you also have an alpha female based on finances. Okay. Do you think that an alpha male that's looking for cooperation is going to be able to get cooperation from an alpha female that's looking for the same thing? Absolutely not. What you're going to get is this: no cooperation, no peace. The woman is not going to follow the man's lead because the woman feels that she is equal to the very man that she's married to. Hence lays the problem. Giselle is not a traditional wife. She's an independent woman that is in a covenant that requires her to submit to her husband. But because Giselle doesn't look at her husband at a hierarchy, but rather looks at him as an equal, this is the reason why they are no longer together. All right. Last year was supposed to be Tom Brady's last season. He told everyone he was going to retire, and that's what he did. And then he started to see the opportunity to play again, and he did. And Giselle had a fit. What? We had an agreement. You were never going to play football again. You were going to stay home and take care of the kids while I go out and work like a man or do all the other things that I want to do because God forbid if you tell me to stay home. Think about it. Giselle Bunchins had an issue with Tom Brady wanting to come out of retirement and play football. Does that sound like a traditional wife? Bunchins is out of order. It's not in her place to tell her husband what to do. If her husband wanted to play football, that's his decision. As long as he's doing what's best for the family, who is she to question that? So that caused a complete rip, and that's the reason why they they wind up filing divorce papers and then they finalize their divorce. But the nerve of Giselle Bundchen to tell Tom Brady that he can't play football anymore. Not to put this man on a pedestal, but to Tom, he's saying, "Hey, I'm Tom effing Brady, right? Who are you to tell me that I can't play football? I'll do whatever I want. I'm a man, more importantly, and I am the husband. I am the president. You should be the vice president, but because you think that that you make more money than I do, that you believe that you should have a say. When truth be told, you should be following my lead." And unfortunately, had Tom Brady married a traditional wife, this wouldn't be an issue because the wife would never question what the husband does because she understands he is that he is the husband, and because she loves and submits to God, and because she wants God, and because she expects, or I'm sorry, or because the expectation uh, from God to her is to follow and submit to your husband, she will go along with it. But without even trying to get into their religion, clearly these two did not follow the Christian way. Because if these two truly followed the Christian way, I don't even think that they would even get married because they wouldn't be compatible. Tom Brady just fell in love with a supermodel, and he went along with her beauty and her body, and that's the reason why they wind up getting married. They did it for all the wrong reasons. Now they both agreed because they have two children that they were going to cohabitate. I'm sorry, co-parent. They both agreed to co-parenting their children, but this is going to affect the children because they know that mommy and daddy are not going to be able to live under the same roof like a traditional family should. So in a way, they're going to grow resentment unless they're able to explain to the children why they both decided to break up a happy home. But the blame goes both ways. I blame Giselle for not following her husband, and I also blame Tom for not marrying a traditional wife. He just married a supermodel that is infatuated with the secular world. But I will get into more detail with this. Look out for part 2 of the family where I will go in depth with it and I will be able to bring you more information, more data and statistics so that this will be able so that I will be able to really bring home the message of why the family is an imperative component in society. I know I started a little late, and hopefully you guys will be able to catch this live stream late whenever you can. But the family part two live broadcast is coming next Monday. All right. And this time we will start on time. So, with that being said, uh, this is The Conservative, and I will sign out. Also, for the ones that happen to catch my live stream, um, like like the live broadcast, all right, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I'll be able to come up with new content. Check out the YouTube Shorts, as now I will be able to make short clips that you guys will be able to sit back and enjoy. I actually like the function because you can make a 15-second clip, 15 or a 1 minute clip that can constantly loop. So if you want to watch it for 15 seconds and you like it, then you'll have the opportunity to view it time and time and time again because the video will loop. Um so that's what I have to say, and have a great happy Halloween, or enjoy as as much of it as you can. And as we head into the first month of November, stay safe. Oh, and don't forget about the midterms. Guys, get out there and vote. We need to take our country back and make America great again. The only way we're going to be doing it, the only way we can do it is through our action, because we can give lip service all day, but we actually have to show up at the polls and make our voices heard by by invoking our opportunity and right to vote. And remember, vote for Republicans, not rhinos. Amazing.